Hey guys, welcome to the third video on this series. Today we're going to be covering adding experience gained and experience per hour. This is pretty simple stuff. The first thing we need is a variable to keep track of the experience gained. And to do that, we simply create an integer variable called xgain, for example. And this is going to be equal to 0 at the start. And in the onStart, we're going to assign it the experience at the start of the script. So the total experience we had when the script started. And for example, startexp, we're going to create another variable called startexp. And startexp is going to be the current experience of the skill, in our case, is mining. So let me explain this. Basically, we had an integer variable called startexp to which we are going to assign the value of the experience we had when the script started. And we get this value by using the getCurrentExp method from the skills class. So our skills class has a method called getCurrentExp which returns the total experience we have at this moment in a certain skill, and this skill is what goes between the brackets. And to access all of the skills, we do skills dot and then the name of the skill, all in capital letters. So basically we're getting the current experience of the mining skill and we're assigning that to startexp. The skills class also has other methods such as getCurrentLevel and that sort of thing. And now if you go to our onRepaint method, we're going to assign a value to the xgained. And xgained is going to be the current experience take away the start experience. So as we can see, it's pretty similar to the millis here at the bottom. The millis with the current time, take away the start time. The xgained is the current experience, take away the starting experience. And now we've got a xgained. Now how do we calculate the experience per hour? That's pretty simple. I always use this code, and basically what we do here is initialize a variable called xpsec, which stands for experience per second, and this is going to be equal to 0. And now if minutes is greater than 0, or hours is greater than 0, or seconds is greater than 0, so basically we are not at 0, 0, 0 in terms of time, and the experience gained is over 0, then we can calculate the experience per hour. So if all of these are greater than 0, means that we have gained some experience and the script has been running for some time. So xpsec, which is experience per second, is going to be equal to the experience gained divided by the total seconds that there are in the time. So seconds plus minutes times 60, which gives us seconds, plus hours times 60 times 60, which gives us seconds. So up to here, pretty reasonable so far. So experience per second is the experience gained divided by the total number of seconds. And then the experience per minute is experience per second times 60, since there are 60 seconds in every minute. And the experience per hour is the experience per minute times 60. Again, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So now we've got experience per hour. And how do we add this to our script? Well, just as we did with runtime, we do gdrawString and we say experience gained. And we do xgained. And we can do here x per hour, xp hour. But notice there's an error gonna appear here when we add the well, actually, an error might not appear, but still is a good practice to do what I'm gonna do next. Let's add the coordinates. So 267, the x coordinate. So all our lines of text appear in the same column, more or less. And 327 is going to be increased by 15. That's pretty reasonable increase in the UI. You don't want to increase the UI too much, so your lines of text do not appear to separate in terms of the y coordinate, and you don't want them to join together so they cannot be read. So 372 is going to turn into 387. And notice that XP hour is a float, and float stands for floating point number. So this XP hour variable is going to have decimal point, and it's going to have 4 decimal places, so 4 numbers after the decimal point. And in our experience per hour, we don't want to see all the experience per hour with 4 decimal places. That's pretty much irrelevant to the user in terms of if he's gaining 11,735.6135 experience per hour or just 11,000. So what we have to do is turn this XP hour variable into an integer so it will not display those decimal places. And to do that, it's pretty simple. We simply do what's called casting. And casting means temporarily treating one variable as if it had a different data type. So we here cast XP hour to be an integer, and in this particular location it will be treated as an integer, so it will only display the values up to the decimal point. And to do that, we simply write the data type between brackets before the variable. So here we've got XP hour, and before it we write between brackets int, which stands for integer. And that's pretty much it. We have now got experience gained, then the experience we've gained, and then 2 spaces we can add more. We've got experience per hour, and we add at the end of it the experience per hour we've gained. And we can do this with any other value we've got. So for example, if we calculate the total number of ores we've mined, we can calculate the number of ores per hour by doing the same procedure. So pretty simple, and yeah, I hope you learned how to do it, or at least you got refreshed in your memory about how to do it. Hope you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe, comment below, and like the video, make it your favorite. I don't know, support me in one way or another to get me going. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.